Hello everyone, my name is Shambhavi. Hope you all are doing well. So today we'll be making out a weather app in the Python programming language with the help of the tkinter module. So here we go with the final output. See, we'll be getting out a window like this in which we'll be getting an option for the search weather. Let's say I just write out here something, let's say that is Delhi. A name for any country, any city you can just put in here, fine. I had put it out Delhi. So when I just click on this button, that is search weather. See, what I just got that I'm just searching for Delhi and that is in India, right? IN. Then after that, I just got the weather in the Celsius and even in the Fahrenheit. And I just got that what is the, like it is cloudy or it is sunny. So here we just got that is, it is mist right now. Let me just remove it out here and let's say I just do it for, let's do it for Goa. Right, and if I just click on the search weather, see for here as well, I just got that Goa, it is in India, and this is the Celsius, this is the Fahrenheit, and here we are getting as rain. So you can just use it all over the globe, whatever the like city you just want to put on here. Let's say I do London or I just do US, whatever you just want to put on here, everything will work actually, right? So this will be the final output of the program of the app of the weather app which we are gonna make today with the help of the tkinter library, right? So let's get started. Basically, what are the things that we'll be needing, what are the libraries that I'll be needing, that I'll be letting you know here itself. The first one is the tkinter. As I mentioned that this is a GUI project, right? So in that case, basically we'll be needing out the tkinter library. So I'm just importing that here. So just write from tkinter import, and here I'll be putting asterisk. So this line means that from the tkinter library, I'm going to import all of the functions which I have into this particular library. Fine. Okay. Next, basically, what do I have here? Next, I'll be using, okay, I have another module which is config parser. Okay, so just write here config parser. This is the module which we actually have here. As I mentioned that it is a module, so we do not need to install this onto our devices, right? So from config parser, I'll be writing here import, and there we have a function which is config parser. Now, what's the difference that in the config parser, C and P would be capital for the config and the parser, right? Please make sure to write out the very correct things, otherwise it will actually show you out the errors. Okay, now come to the new line, and from tkinter I'm just gonna import out the message box as well. Why is the message box? Because let's say I just entered any wrong city name, or let's say I entered nothing into that box and I simply clicked on search weather. So what it will actually do for me, it will actually pop up a message for me that okay, this is the invalid city or you have mentioned, please try it once again. So I'll be getting out a pop-up message for that. So for that, we actually need to import out the message box from the tkinter library. Fine. So same thing I'm just doing here. I'm writing from tkinter. Here would be import, and that is message box. Fine. This is done. Okay. Single A would be here. Fine. And at last, I'd be importing here import request. So request is actually used for, basically we just use out this module for the accessing of the like APIs and all those things, right? So just you need to pip install this request onto your devices. So I just go onto the terminal, and here basically I'll be writing pip, and then I'll be writing install and request request, and I will just hit enter. So I have already done that for me. So for me it is showing that requirement already satisfied. But if you haven't done that till now, so just install this onto your IDEs, whatever you are using. So this is the module which you want to install, and other of the all the three which we have used out, you do not need to install them onto your devices. Fine. So one more thing to mention here, that I am on my PyCharm IDE and I'm just going to work totally onto this PyCharm IDE only. Right? Okay. This is all. Now basically what I'm just doing is that I will be making out like a variable in which I'll be making out my tkinter window. Fine. Okay, let's see. Let me just give it here as root. Fine, root is my variable which I am going to make here for making out my tkinter window. And how we just make that? We make that with the help of capital T and a small k. This is how we make out the tkinter window. Fine. I want to give that window a title. For that, I could simply write root dot, and I would just write here title. And into the bracket, I'll be writing that what is the title I just want. So I would just write that, let's say, my own weather app. Fine, this is my title. Now that depends on you, that whatever you just want to put out here, you can just put according to your choice. Fine. Coming to the new line, I would just want to give it a particular background color as well. As you had seen that in my tkinter window that appeared, there was a background color of black, right? So that did not come by default. I need to mention the command for making it the black background color. By default, that background color is always white. That is actually a little bit of gray color. Okay, so if you just want to mention any particular color of your choice, so in that case you need to mention out the command. So the command that we use is root. Root is a variable in which I had made out my tkinter window. So wherever I just use root, so it means that I need to put out this particular thing onto my tkinter window only. That is why I always mention the variable in which I have taken out my tkinter window. Fine. So I hope you could just got this idea that why everywhere I just use out this root as a variable, right? So root dot, the function which we have, that is config, and into the bracket I could just simply write here a background is equal to, and I could just give it a background, let's say that is black, because I just want that particular thing only to appear out here. Fine. And after that we can even give a geometry here as well, app dot, okay, that is root, I'm so sorry, just let me write it here as root. So here we go. Fine, root dot geometry. Now whatever the dimensions you just want, you can put out them here. Fine, let's see my dimensions which I just want is 700 cross, and I have 400. Now always I tell in my videos, and right now as well I'm just going to tell that this is not the multiplication sign, this is the X character which you have onto your alphabets, right? Fine. So I just imported out that what title I want, what color I want, what is the geometry, and if that's what I would just do, I would just write here root dot main loop, and I would just close this out, because whenever I just want to use and see out my tkinter output, so in that case I always need to put out this root dot main loop as the last line of my program. Fine, now it's the time to run out this much whatever we have written out, and I would just click here on run. So just have a look that one window is appearing here, that is the black color window, and it is 700 cross 400. Fine, I would just close this output here. Okay, now this much we have made out. Now what's my next step that I'll be making? I'll be taking different variables that will actually take the entry for me. I'll be making out an entry box into which I could just write that what is the country name which I want the weather to be searched for. Okay, that thing we'll be making out. So let's write out here. Fine. Okay, so I would just write here that okay, search underscore city. Okay, search underscore city. This is the variable name which I had made out. So in this, what I would just give here, first of all, I'll be giving here as a string var, because whatever the input will be taking into this box, that will be treated as a string, right? So that is why I just gave out here as a string. Okay, and now here I'll be writing out search. Okay, I would just write here. Now we had basically the entry for the city, right? So I would just write here entry. Okay, that is enter underscore city. Let's say this is my variable name that I had made out. Now into this I had be making out my box, that is my entry box, in which I had be able to write out the country name, preferred country name, whichever I just want out. Fine. So I would just use out my function which is entry. Make sure to keep this E as capital. Fine. Inside this, first of all, I'll be writing out the variable in which I have stored my tkinter window. So that is root for me, right? Then we have a parameter here, that is text variable. Now this text variable means that what you want to write inside this box which you are actually making, which variable is storing that particular value which you want to write inside this box. So I had already made out a search underscore city variable that is taking the input from the user in the string var format, right? So I would be in the text variable, I'd be writing here search underscore city only. Okay, because this is the variable which is actually storing out this particular thing for me, right? Okay. After this, I'll be putting out a comma. Now comes my FG color. I do not want to specify or mention any particular background color into the entry box. If you just want to do that particular thing, so you can just put out BG color is equal to this. But I do not want to do this. I simply want to give out my font color. So for that, I'll be writing FG is equal to, and let's say the color which I want to give out here is blue. Fine. Okay, after that comes about my font, that what font size I want, what writing do I want it bold, italic, what do I just want out here. Fine, all the things will be mentioning. So I just want it to be Arial. Now you can just put out any of the handwritings whichever you just want, like Arial, Calibri, anything you can just put out here. Fine. For me, I'm taking simply Arial. After that, you need to put out the font size that you want. I had put out here as 30. Now this is also changeable. Whatever you just wish, you can put out here. And I just want the writing to come into the bold. Whatever I'm just writing, I just want it to come into bold. So I just wrote bold here. Instead of this bold, you can even write out italic as well. right? So this is all which I had put out here, and simply I could just write here, okay, that is enter underscore city dot pack. Pack is a function which will actually allow me to put out all of these things, or the like whatever I've just made out, put this thing onto my tkinter window. Okay, and now I would just run it out here once a while. So now have a look that here some box has been appeared, that is a rectangular box of a white color, because I haven't given any particular BG color to this box. And now let's say here I just write out Delhi. Now just have a look that is coming into the blue color and with the bold handwriting. Fine, now I would just close it. So we had just made out the box in which we'll be entering out our city. That for which city you just want to find out the weather. Okay, now next under this one, what you're able to see, you'll be able to see the search button, right? We had made out a search button into that. So now it's the time for making out my search button. So okay, that was search underscore city. Now it'd be my okay, search underscore button, right? Now into the search button, I'll be making out a button here. So we just make that with the help of the button function. B would be capital. Make sure to keep that thing in mind, right? So first of all, I'll be putting out the variable here in which I have stored my tkinter window. So that is root for me. Then what do I want? I want a text to appear here. Now what is my text that I just want to? So whatever you just want to be written into the middle of your button, just write that particular text here. Let's say I just want it to be written here as search weather. Let's say this is my text, okay? So I just wrote out this particular thing here, right? I will just put out a comma. Now we are always allowed to give out a width spelling. We are always allowed to give out a particular width for that button which we are actually making out. Fine. I want to give out the width here as 20. I can just put that particular thing here. Fine. Now I'll be giving out my BG color. I want some background color for my button, that is red. What about my FG color? That is my font color. Yes, I want that as well. So I could just put my FG color as white. Okay. Fine. After that we have the font one. So font I just want here to be same handwriting, that is Arial. Only the size would be a little bit smaller, that is 25, and yes, I just want that to be into the bold. Fine, come to the new line, and here I could just simply use search underscore button dot, and I would just use here the pack function, right? And now it's the time again to run out my program. So basically here just now have a look that this button has also come here. This is working, right? Okay. Fine, now just close this out here. This is okay. Now what next do we have here? Next we have that we now what are the things that you want to put out here? First of all, whichever the city I just search out there. Let's say I just searched out Delhi. So I just want that whatever the location is of that particular city, that should also come here. So when I just showed you the output of the previous, like in the starting when I showed you the output, so you were able to see that first of all the entry box was available, that is okay. Under that the search button was available. So let's say I just wrote Delhi. So the third line in which that come was Delhi, comma IN. That was written, right? So it was basically telling me the location of that particular city, that which is the country in which this particular city is located. So this thing I just want to be appearing onto my app as well, right? So I'm just putting out now that particular thing, right? Fine. So now I'd be just writing out here location. Fine. Okay, let's not be only location underscore, and I would just put it as here as entry. Fine, this is my variable which I am making out. Fine. Okay, so here what I would just use, first of all, I'd be putting out the label. Now because that will be coming automatically after we just write out the code. So as we click on the search button, all the things would be coming. So in that case, we will be just needing out the label function here. So I just put that out. Make sure to keep this L as capital, not small. Inside this, I'll be writing out the variable name in which I have stored my window. That is root. Fine, that is okay. Now, what text do I want? So, I would just not mention any particular text here. Why I would not mentioning? Because that text I'll be defining in some of the functions. So, that is why I would just not be mentioning any particular thing here. Okay. I'll just make this as blank only. After that, I just want the font. So, font I'll be mentioning on my own. That is, let's say, that is Arial for me. And the size is, let's say, 35. Okay, just 1 second. And yeah, I just want that to be in the board that I had put out here, right? After this, I just even want to give out a background color as well. So I would just put out BG is equal to, okay, not inside the bracket. Let me just go outside the bracket, comma. Right here, BG is equal to. Now, I just want my background color to be, let's say, light blue. Okay, so I just put out that light blue color here. And I would just put out location underscore entry dot pack. So it will basically place that particular thing onto the required place, right? That even I have done out here. Now what I would just do here is that I would be mentioning the other things, right? This location underscore entry has been completed. Fine. Fine. This is done. Now we'll be putting out the temperature one. Okay, so I would just write here temperature. So okay, I would just write here full name for temperature, R-A-T-U-R-E, temperature underscore entry, E-N-T-R-Y. Okay, let's say this is the variable. Fine. Now into this variable, I'd again be using that label. So I'll just put on here capital L-A-B-E-L, B-E-L like this. Now inside this, what I'll be just putting is, let me just come down first of all, right here. First of all, root I'll be putting out. After that, I'll be putting out the text. So text again I'll be keeping here as blank because I mentioned that we'll be writing out some code for printing out the text, right? So after this, I'll be giving out the font color. So font is equal to, it would be Arial. The size would remain same, that is 35. Only the BG color would change. Sorry, first of all, that would be in the bold. After that, comma. And what about the BG color? So BG color will change to light pink. Light pink, right? This is what. And I would simply write here temperature underscore entry dot pack, right? And this is also done. Now, so last one which you just need to make out here is weather underscore entry. Weather underscore entry, fine. And here I'd be using out the label, into the bracket again root. What about my text? So that would also be blank outside, so blank here. Then I just want the font to come. So font is equal to, so my font is Arial. Then I have the size which is 35. And then okay, inside this only I have it bold as well, right? And after that I have my BG color which I just want to put out, that is BG is equal to, and that would be light green. Fine. So let's say these are the colors which I just want to put out here. After that, I'll be writing weather underscore entry dot back, and here we go. Right. So for now, you'll be not be able to see these changes onto that tkinter window because we haven't put out any particular text here. Okay. So as soon as we define out the functions, after that you'll be able to see out the changes whatever we are just trying to make out here. Fine. Now basically what's the time for doing out? So now it's the time for going and searching for an API key, right? So let's do that thing, do that particular thing. So I would just go on to the Google and I would just open here as, let's say that is weather API. Let's say this one, okay? Okay. After this I'd be, okay, let me just zoom in so that you are actually able to see the website first of all. So that you can just go to the correct website. Fine. See, have a look. This is my website on which I'll be going out. That is http openwiththemap.org. This one I'll be using out here, right? I would just zoom in here and right here. So this is my basically my website which I am going to use on, and here I have my account which is already made out. Fine. So you can just make out the account on your own onto this particular website. Let me just log out here first of all and then show you that same thing. Fine, this is how you can just go and sign in, and I will just click on the submit here. So this window will actually open out here. Fine. Now, first of all, I just want to get out my key, my API key, from with the help of which I'll be able to access out this content, right? Access out the weather of the particular cities. So just click on your profile here. Your name would be appearing. Click on that profile besides the support button. Here you'll be getting the second option, that is my API keys. The second option you'll be getting out here. Okay, just click on this particular option. Now here you'll be getting an API key for you to use. Okay, you'll be getting an API key for you to use. Just copy that out here. Fine, I have copied that. Now go back to the tkinter, go back to this PyCharm And wherever you had made out your final app, whether this py file, just make one text file onto that particular place. So just go on to new and click on this file. Okay, give it some name. So let's say my name is okay, I'll be giving it a okay, that is weather dot key. Let's say this is my name. Okay, and I would just hit enter. So okay, this one is a text file, right? So I just got one new text file here. Now basically here what I would just do, I would just put out a bracket like this. Okay, let me zoom in fine here. Okay, so I would just put out a bracket, large bracket like this here. Okay, now inside that large bracket, what I'm just gonna put here is that I'll be putting here a variable that is API underscore key. Okay, this variable I'll be putting out, and after that I'll be using key is equal to, right? And now just let me minimize that too much, and I will just put out my API key into this particular. Fine. So we had just got out the key that now basically now what's the turn? Now we'll be getting out a URL. Okay, now I'll be taking out the URL from which we'll be using out this key. So I would just again go on to the Google, and now what you just need to do is that besides the guide option, there is one option which is API. Just click on that particular option. Fine. You'll be getting out a window that is open like this. Okay, this window. Fine. Now here basically what we just want to get here, we just want to get out the current weather data, right? This particular one. So click on the API doc option. Fine. Now as soon as this option is open, here basically we are having some API call websites. So let me just show you out that particular thing. The very first one which we are having. So we just want to search it by the city name, right? As I mentioned that what it will be doing, it will be basically searching out by the city name. So here I just clicked on by city name. So now here I would just copy out this whole key, right? I would just click on the copy. Come to back to the PyCharm IDE. Here I'll be making out one variable, and that variable will actually store out this URL for me. So I would just write URL underscore API. Let's say this is the variable name which I am making. Fine. Into this I'll be putting out that API key which I am actually having out here. Now one thing to just mention here that here the HTTPS is not actually mentioned. You just need to write out that. You just write HTTP:// Fine, now it will actually work. If you have not put out that thing, then it will actually not at all work. Now we need to make out some changes into this particular thing. We need to remove out the city name from inside this bracket, and even we need to remove out this API key from this bracket. Okay, these two changes you need to make out into this particular URL underscore API variable, right? That is make. Now what I would just do, in one of the files that is weather.key, right? Into that I have stored out my API. Okay, my API key which I just got from that particular website. When you just log in onto that website, then only you'll be getting that API key, right? So now I would just try to read that file and save it in some particular variable, right? So here we are just using all the concept that is of the file handling. So let me just put on that thing here. Okay, so let's say I'll be using out API underscore file, the variable name which I'll be taking out here, right? So into this I'll be putting out the semicolons and writing out the name of the file in which I had stored out my key. So that is weather.key for me actually. Okay, come to the new line. Here I'll be again using one variable. Let's say let's put it as API. Okay, that is API underscore okay, that is key. Let's say put it as key. Okay, no, this one is the variable which is already made. I'll just put it out file underscore a. Fine. Now into this I'll be using out that config parser which we have already imported, which I've already used above, imported above to use out and to read out this API, which will be API key which we are having into our file, which is weather.key. Right. Now this was the reason that why I have imported out this config parser above. Okay. Next, I'll be reading out this file. Okay, I'll be reading out this file in which I have my weather.key. So I have stored this weather.key file into a variable which is API file. So now instead of reading this file, I'll be simply reading out this variable only. Right, so how we'll be doing that thing? So I'll be using the variable which is file underscore a, and I'll be putting out the dot and use out the read function. And into the bracket, write out the variable where you have stored your text file in which you have put on your key. So that is for me, that is API underscore file. Right, this is how it worked, right? Come to the new line. Now what I would just do, we had already made out a variable into the previous file, into that text file, that was API underscore key, right? We had already done that thing. Now what I would just do here is that I'll be putting out equal to sign. I'll be using out the variable which we had made, that is file underscore a. Into this I'll be using out that variable which is API underscore key, and after that I'll be using out the key variable as well. Fine. So I just use both of these here. Okay, that is absolutely done. Now what we'll be making out a function, now will be okay, whatever the text, whatever the things which we are having here, these onto that website, these are into the form of JSON files. Actually, you remember, you actually know the JSON files, right? They are in the format of the JSON ones. So in the JSONs, we just need to extract that much thing which we actually need out here. We just do not want each and everything to appear. We just want whatever the data you just want from there. You will be just extracting that particular only. Fine. So now we'll be doing that thing here. Let's come down. Let's make out a function def, and I'll be using def, and my function name would be weather underscore find. Let's say, okay. And into the bracket, I would be passing out a variable, and let's say that variable here I am having a city. Okay. Now come to the new line. I'll be making out a variable here, and into that variable, with the help of the request module, I'll be using out my URL, okay, which we have used above. Fine. So fine, I'll be making out a variable that is, let's say, final. Okay, final is equal to, with the help of my request module, I'll be using that request module here, put out a dot, and use here the get function. Okay, put out the get function. Now what is the variable which we have used? URL underscore API. So I've just write URL underscore API, put out a dot, and I'll be using here the function which is format. Okay, format. Now why I am just using this? Now inside this format one, I would be using both of the variables, both of the things which I have into this API, into this variable. Okay, just one second, let me show you here at this particular place. Okay, fine. So we just want the weather, and even we just want the API key, right? So I would just put both of that particular things into this. So format, and here I'd be using the city, comma, and I'd be using the API underscore key, this variable which we had already made, right? This is okay, I guess. After this, I'll be making a function. Sorry, my condition is start if final. Now basically, if this is the condition, if final, so in that come inside this. Now it's the turn for making out my JSON. Fine, using out and reading out my JSON file. So I've just write down here JSON underscore file. Okay, that will be equal to the final, the variable which we had made, dot, and JSON function. So this will actually help me to use out the JSON file for this particular weather data which we are actually having, right? Here now comes the variable name. So that is city first of all. Fine. So from the help of that just JSON file, I just want the city, and that is the name of the city. Okay, that is JSON underscore file. Okay, let me just go on to that particular website and show you that from where I'm just taking out this data. So let me just come down for a while here. Just let me go more downside, and okay, fine. Let's copy out this geographic coordinates, and let's come a little bit more down. And here basically we have one option here that will actually show me this JSON one. Okay, now just see, have a look here, that these are all the things which I am having into my JSON file which I am having. Right now from this we can just extract any number of things which you just want to get as an output for you to, let's say you just want the wind speed and degree, let's say you just want the type, you just want the country, you just want the sunset, you just want the sunrise, everything you just, let's say, want it out here. So you can just put these things into the different variables. Fine. Here what I am just doing, I am just using the name. Okay, now just let's see that where is that name present. So here let's come down first of all, and let's see here. This is the variable where name is present, right? Now whatever the name you just want to give out of the city, you can just put that out. Now that city name it is not present in any particular function. In any particular function it is not present, as just have a look that we are having weather. Now into this weather a list is made, and after that a dictionary is made, and into this all of these things are particularly written, that is id, main, description and icon. So let's say if you want to use here description, fine, let's say you want to access out the description variable from here, this dictionary you want to access out this key. So in that case you need to use out the first of all weather, then you can only access this particular thing. But for the name we are not having anything like this, right? Because this is only one single dictionary that is actually made out here. We do not have any particular variable in which we have stored the dictionary. So you can simply and directly use out this name here. So that same thing I have done out here. I had simply used city is equal to JSON_file and then the name. Come to the new line. Now let's say I just want the country. Okay, so I will just write here country_name, my variable. Fine. Now I would just write here JSON_file. Now let's go on to the Google Chrome once again, and now let's see that where we are having that country. Now country we are having at this particular place, right? So now that we are having inside the sys variable, sys is one variable. Inside that I have stored a dictionary, and that dictionary is having a key which is basically country, right? So now I just need to first of all use out this sys, and then I'll be using out this country. Hope you are just getting the things very much clear, right? Because I'm just telling you how to use out this JSON file, so that if you're just using out any other website as well, so you will be able to work from that. Okay, JSON name file, okay, file name. And now here I'll be putting out first of all sys. Okay, and now after this I'll be putting out this bracket, and from here I just want to use out the country. Fine. Now let's go to the new line. Now we have the temperature which you'll be able to see at that place. That is in actually we have that in Kelvin. Okay, now we just need to convert that Kelvin to Celsius and Fahrenheit, whichever you just want to be displayed. Fine. So what I would just do, I would just write K_temp. And sorry, like this I would just write K_temperature. Fine. So with the help of that JSON file, just write JSON_file and into the bracket. Now let's go to that particular place and see that where is the temperature into this JSON file. So we are able to see the temperature this one. Okay, so temperature is in the main. So main is one of the variable which is made, and into that there is one dictionary, and into that dictionary only we have the variable which is temperature. Let me see that. Can I just zoom in the text first of all? Yes, I can. Let me just show you that particular thing as well here. So now hope it is more clear to you, right? So just have a look now. That this main is the variable, and into that we have a dictionary, this much dictionary. Fine. And into this dictionary we have a variable that is temp, right? So I'm just going to use that here. So this JSON file, inside this first of all I'll be putting out that main which we have, and here I'll be using out the temp, T-E-M-P, my temperature which I would just want. Now how to convert out this Kelvin temperature into Celsius and Fahrenheit? So first of all I'll be doing it into Kelvin, sorry, into Celsius and then Fahrenheit. Okay, that is T_temperature, TURE. Now we all know the formula for converting out that Celsius. What's that? That is some whatever the variable in which we have the temperature minus 273.15. Now K_temperature is my variable in which I have stored my temperature into the Kelvin. Right? So I would just subtract that from 273.15. So I would just write here K_temperature minus 273.15. Okay, this is how you can convert it into Celsius. Then I have the Fahrenheit as well. So I would just write F_temperature. Now if you just want into the like Fahrenheit, you can just put out, otherwise there is no compulsion to put out. Okay, TEMPE, and here I have A right here. So now here basically I'll be using out first of all I'll be using out the same, which is K_temperature minus 273.15. Then after that we had even had one more thing, that is 9 by 5 plus 32, right? This also we are having. So I've just put out a multiplication sign, 9 by 5 plus and then 32, right? This also we are having. Fine. If you just do not remember the formula, you can just check it onto the Google, right? This is how we just convert it to the Fahrenheit. Fine, that is okay. Now what next do I want here? Next I want the weather as well to be displayed. Fine. Okay, so I would just write here as weather_, Okay, weather underscore display. Fine. And put out a equal to sign. Now here basically again we're using that JSON file, and from that JSON we have a variable which is weather. From there okay, that is JSON underscore file right there. So from there we can just get out the weather, then we can put out the index, and even I can just write out there as main. Fine, that is okay. Okay, just let me go on to that particular file once again and show you about the weather as well. Fine. So here we are weather, this one. Okay, this weather. So inside this weather we are having these particular things. We want this main, so that is here I just put out the index, right? That is okay. Now what I would just do here is that I'd be making one again one variable, that is, let's say, result. Okay, that is result, and into this result I'll be storing all of the variables which I have put out here for making out different for putting out different things onto my app, right? So that is city, then country name. So I had first of all city, that is city like this, right? Then what I have the country name. Then I do not want the Kelvin temperature, I only want the temperature to be in the Celsius and Fahrenheit. So C underscore temperature. Okay, after that I have F underscore temperature. Fine, and then we have weather underscore display, right? So these are all the things which I just want onto that tkinter window to be displayed. So I just put on all the things and extracted all of these things from my JSON file, right? And here what I would just do, I would just simply return out the result. So I would just write return and result. Fine, this I have done. Now after this comes out my else condition. So into this else condition I could simply write return none. Fine, that works actually. Okay, now what I would just do now, next thing that I am left here with is I need to make out one another function, and that function will actually help me to print out all of these things into the variables which we had made already downside. Okay, now we'll be doing out this particular thing. Okay, so I would just make here def, and that is print underscore weather. Let's say this is the variable. Okay, put out the bracket, come to the new line. Here basically I'll be using out this variable which is city that I had made out. Okay, so I would just write here as city is equal to, and I would just put here city underscore text dot get, right? This is what I would be just using out here. Fine. Now basically what I'll be just coming out with the next here, I'll be coming out the new line, and here I'll be using out a variable. Okay, so that variable which we had made out is weather. Okay, so that is weather underscore weather. Fine. WEATHER. Fine. Now weather is equal to, and here I'll be putting out fine. Here I'll be using out get. Okay, that is weather underscore entry, right? And now into the bracket I'd be using out the city function, city variable which we had actually made out. Fine. Coming to the new line, I would be using out my condition, that if weather. Okay, if weather come to the inside this if condition. Now here I'll be using out different variables which we have used for making out this location, this temperature, and all those things, right? So first one is basically my location underscore entry. So I would be just using that here. That is location underscore entry. Fine. Into the bracket I'll be putting out the text, right? Come down. Location underscore entry text. Fine. After that I'll be putting out the equal to sign. And what format do I want? I'll be first of all putting out the semicolons, these curly brackets, right? Comma, this curly bracket. Fine, this curly bracket, then another curly bracket. This first one is for my city which I have entered, and second one is for my country which I am having, right? After that, put out a dot here, format, and put out the bracket, and here I'd be using that weather which we have already made out. Weather, first of all the index would be 0, then putting out a comma, and then my index would for the weather would be 1, weather 0, and then weather 1, right? This is okay. Okay, just let me write out the spelling correct for mat, that is MAT. Fine. Coming to the new line, same thing I'd be doing for the temperature. So what is the variable that we had made out? So let me just see that particular thing. That is temperature underscore entry. Fine. So I would just write here temperature underscore entry. Same thing here, I'd be giving out the text text and putting out the closing bracket, put out the equal to sign, and here I'd be giving, first of all, I just want that to be in Celsius, then I just want it to be in the Fahrenheit. So put out the colon here and put out a dot, and here write 2F. So this means that after the 2 decimal places, I would be getting that particular temperature in the Fahrenheit. And here I will be putting out, sorry, first one is the Celsius. I will put out Celsius, right? Putting out a comma. Again, put out the large brackets. Again, I just want the temperature to be in 0.2F. This is basically after the 2 decimal places, I just want it to be appearing, right? And I just want that to be F. So this one is C is for Celsius and F is for F. Fahrenheit. You can change it according to your choice, okay? Put out a dot, and here I'd be using that is weather. Into the bracket I'd be putting out 2. Okay, where is that format gone? Okay, first of all I'll be writing here as format. So format, okay. Into the bracket I'll be giving out the weather here. That is weather. Into the bracket that is 2, and after that putting out a comma. Then I have weather, and here it is in the 3. Fine, that is okay. Come to the new line. Here now what I would just do is that I would be making out the weather one. So that is weather underscore entry, right? That we had done here, this one. Fine. Weather underscore entry. So now into this I would again use out my text that I had made out. That is okay. Putting out the equal to sign. Now I would be giving here as weather, and into the bracket I'll be writing here as 5. Right? These are all the indexes actually which I have given out. Fine. Okay, that is done, and after that I can just simply use out one of my else condition here, else, and if this is not the case, then in that basically what to do, else I would now use out my message box. As I told that if the city is not valid, then it will show me a pop-up message that please enter the correct city, right? So I would just write message box dot, and I would just use out the show error function. Okay, into the bracket I'll be writing out here as error, and I will be putting out a comma, and I will be just using here that please enter a valid city name, cannot, so that is cannot find this city. Fine. This is a sentence which I just wanted to be appearing, so I had just put on that particular sentence there, right? Okay. Now what's the next thing that we'll be doing out here? Okay, first of all just let me check out the variable, just 1 second. That is right here, and what we had made out for the city underscore, okay, that is search underscore city we had made out, right? So instead of this I'll be writing here search, okay, that is search underscore city, this one. Okay, right. Now what I was just doing here is that I would be simply coming down here, and now it's the time for the functions, right? So let's say that we are to use out the function. So function I had already done, that is weather underscore find, right here. Now what I would just do here is that I would just try to run out my program here for a while. So run, and let's say that basically what it will actually come out here, and does it gives us any error, or basically do we just get out some output here for this particular program? Okay, so it's okay. Let's close it out here for a while because it's not giving me anything. Okay, so here somewhere we just need to call out the function. So let's call out our function first of all, and then let's run it out. So let me just go back here. Now, so basically we had just made it, or everything is completed. Now I just need to do just one thing here, that is into my search underscore button, this variable where we have made out the button. Into this I need to call out the function. So the function which I'll be calling out, that is print underscore weather, right? Because this will actually display me all of the things which I have. So let me just come down here, and let me just write here. Okay, so where's that variable? That is search underscore button, this one. Okay, so here I'll be using command is equal to, and that is actually print underscore weather. Now just please make sure to remove out these brackets from this function, that is print underscore weather. Okay, now let's do one thing. Okay, just one thing more here, that here I'm just getting some brown color line. So just make sure that here as well we had made out some mistake. So let's see, weather is equal to, okay, our function name was weather underscore find. Okay, and I just by mistake put on weather underscore entry. Right here, so weather underscore find, this is actually done out. Now it's the time for running out of our program. So let's click on the run. Okay, so Arvinder is appearing here. Let's say I just put on here as okay, let's say I just give here as London. Okay, and just click on search weather. Fine. Okay, so it is giving me 2 only, and that is okay. It's giving me one error, that is tuple index out of range. That is for the weather. Okay, let's go there and see that what I have done. This is the particular place, and okay, I have given 0 1 2 3. Okay, by mistake here I have written 5. Instead of this I need to put on here 4, because we have given the index 0 1 then 2 and the 3, and after that comes the 4, not 5. Right now let's again run it out once. So click on run, and yes, here now we are. So what it will actually give, I would just write here, let's say again that particular one, that is London, and click on search weather right here. So I am getting that London GB, it is in like London, and then GB it is basically the country name. After that I'm getting the Celsius and the Fahrenheit temperature, and then I'm getting that what's the weather is. The weather is there as clouds, that is cloudy. Let's close it out once again, and now let's try to run it out one more time. So here I would just run it once again. Fine. So let's say I would just now, let's say, give here as Kerala. Okay, Kerala. Fine. Click on the search weather. Okay, so now it is saying me that please enter a valid city name, cannot find the city. Now it is because this like the API which we have used out, this website which we have used out, this must not be having the data for the Kerala city, right? So because of that only it is showing me this particular thing, right? Now let's again go on to the PyCharm and try running out it once again for any other thing. So I would just click on run here, and let's say I would just run it for the okay, let's do it for the Goa only. Click on search weather, and here we are getting that Goa is in India, 24.88 is the Celsius and 76.78 in the Fahrenheit, and it is rain. The weather is actually rain, right? And one more thing to mention, that you can just close it out as well. So when I just mentioned the wrong thing, when I just mentioned the wrong name of the city, so in that basically it just showed me that okay, this is not the valid one, please enter the valid. So this can come in 2 conditions. First condition is either your spelling is wrong, and second can be that this particular city is not mentioned in that particular API, in that particular website which we are using, right? So just go to the document of that particular once again, and you can just have a look over that. Fine. I will just close it out here. Right, so I hope that you have got the clear idea regarding this project, how you can just make this out, and now you can just use this and make it out from any of the websites which you know, which you want to, because you now know that how to extract out the JSON data, because this was the main thing which we need to do out, and that we have done out, right? So this is all for this video. Till then, thank you and take care.